Hey, Kristin here for another Kristin Reacts. Uh, I actually got a comment asking me to do Snowflakes by MacDonald, and let's be real, I was going to do it eventually, but the one right before this is going to be fake woke because, well, that was kind of like the original Snowflakes in a way if you think about it. Anyway, here we go with Snowflakes. I'll try not to be quite as talky and long as the last video that was like 25 minutes long. But not starting out too good, are we? Anyway, let's get into it because we know how I'm going to be pausing a lot. Again, I have seen and heard this before many times, so this is more of a commentary, just thoughts and admiration. I don't know if that's the right word, but more of a commentary, reaction than a, oh my god, did he just say that? You'll never hear me say that though, because I pretty much agree with what he says. But anyway, here we go.
If you lie to the government, they'll put you in prison. But when they lie to all of us, it's called being a politician. You think taking guns away will...
Yes. So true. If you lie to the government, you're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna go to prison, or you're gonna get in trouble one way or another. They lie to us. It's called being a politician. Ugh. I love how he goes back and forth with the hypocrisy of everything, and it just it drives you. It's enough to drive you crazy. Like the fact that they're so hypocritical. I get why he does this, because it's a really good it has to be a really good outlet and release to rap and sing about this stuff. Actually, I'm starting to feel like this might be the outlet I need, is to react to these things and to talk about it. But yeah, let's get back to this.
Save our kids from the killings, but your pro-choice abortion kills way more children. If America...
Okay, so let's talk about that. He talks about this a lot, and so it probably won't be the first or last time I'll talk about this, or won't be the last time I bring this up. But a lot of people, even reactors, are kind of afraid to touch this. But you know what? Always been the outcast, don't care. I'm a female. Born a female. Plan to stay a female till the end. So, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I do think men have a right to have a say in this stuff. I don't want to make this too long and get too into it, but I didn't know this till later in life, later in my dad's life, but apparently he was married before he married my mom, and this was back in the 70s or whatever. And back then, if you got someone pregnant, you married them because that was the right thing to do. You were taking responsibility. Well, that happened with him. He got married, and this woman's mom basically scared her and took her to another state to get rid of the baby. My dad said that he was totally willing to... He said he told them all. He said, I will take full responsibility. You will never have to have anything to do with this kid if you don't want. He was willing to be there. There are so many men that aren't willing to. My dad wasn't perfect. Straight up. He had his own problems and issues. And, this was probably one of the early ones experiencing this. And it makes me sad to hear the stories of men who are disregarded and left out of this conversation and left out of this choice. Let me tell you, there's no way Like, I understand there are circumstances, but there are also circumstances where the woman is pressured by people like, say, her parents. In the case of my dad, this woman's mom did not like my dad, did not want a grandkid that had him as a father. So basically, I could have had an older brother and or sister. I mean, assuming that my dad would have still gotten back, because it's a long story. My mom and dad were together. They both married other people, and sometime after my dad had been to Vietnam, and so they were both married to other people, and you know, yeah, I mean, assuming that I would have still ended up being a thing, being a person, I could have had an older brother or sister. Instead, you know, I have nobody now. And I'm not like trying to be like, oh, selfish, because people like to say that if you're, you know, pro life. And the thing is, yes, I'm pro life. I'll be straight up. If you don't like it, good, whatever, good for you. But the thing is I know that there are situations, but those situations should be rare. It should be safe for the purpose of you're in a bad situation. The life of the mother, if the baby's gonna die anyway, you gotta save the life of the mother. I mean, that's just a given. Like, because you don't want everyone to die. I mean, I don't want that. And I don't want people going in some back alley or using a coat hanger. I get it. But I think men should be able to speak on this. And I know also, based on another song of Tom's, that he had a girlfriend that, also, did this. And because he said he got a girl pregnant, and he was 32 without a kid, so obviously what she did, basically. So unlike a lot of people, I actually do think men have a right to speak on this because it does affect them. And if you hate me for that thought, then you know what, fine, because I have feelings on it, and I'm going to share that just like you have feelings on it too. Now, I don't hate people who do it. I get that it's a scary thing. But at the same time, you have cases where people are being scared into it. Like, even if a grown woman, like in the case of my dad's first wife, who was basically had pressure from her own mom and was literally taken, because she scared her and talked her into doing it. And I just think that's messed up. I think there should be safety nets around it, but no, we're supposed to be like, if the woman says it, you have to do it. You can't question it. But what if she's being pressured? Just saying. But it's true. It's, again, hypocrisy. It's like you're worried about guns, which I'm not the biggest gun person ever. I mean, I do believe that people should have the right to. But I do believe that we should make sure that unstable people, probably if they're in a state of instability, probably shouldn't have access. Like, I know somebody like me, I'm not always the most stable person. I wouldn't trust myself with a gun. Not that I'm going to hurt somebody else, but, I also live with a boyfriend who has anger issues. Not like he's never been physical. Don't think you're getting no tea there. But, it's just, I don't feel comfortable around guns personally, but I believe that you have a right. If you're a responsible adult, you have every right to to your Second Amendment right, just like I have a right to my First Amendment right to say that I support your Second Amendment. But I personally don't want a gun. But yeah, anyway, let's keep going.
So terrible and racist, it probably isn't safe to encourage immigration. Just saying, all the contradictions are embarrassing. Terrible and racist, it probably isn't safe. No choice, abortion kills way more children. If America's so terrible and racist, it probably isn't safe to encourage immigration. Just saying, all.
I've recently heard that actually, I live in Tennessee, and I've heard that they actually, the government, federal government, I believe, the administration has actually dropped off some people in the country, shall we say, not by legal means, in Nashville. And it's kind of funny. When governors were sending some of these people to Martha's Vineyard, that was like, oh my God, that is so inhumane, sending them to that rich, fancy place full of like supposedly open-minded, beautiful people. But you have a state like Tennessee that's stereotypically, I mean, it's a pretty red state. I mean, Nashville's probably pretty darn blue for a red state, but still, Tennessee, red state. Yet you're gonna it's okay to apparently send them here. Nobody gets all mad when you send them to Tennessee, because obviously they want to turn red states a little bluer, or a little less red, I guess you could say. But that's besides the point. But man, it's just like you said, the hypocrisy. It's like, if we're so hateful, isn't it a little dangerous to encourage them and to literally drop them off in our state? I've never hurt anybody, and I'm pretty sure most people here are not going to hurt people, but it's a hypocrisy for me, and obviously for Tom. But let's keep going. What can you do?
The contradictions are embarrassing. You know who hates America the most?
Americans.
Trigger warnings used to be on TV for seizures, and now they're everywhere to protect millennials' feelings.
I know it's coming up. Can't wait for that. But this is the thing with trigger warnings. Okay. Before even, I know the seizure trigger warnings for seizures, but I experienced it in a different aspect at the beginning. I guess you could say the beginning of the internet, or my experience on the internet. Tried to figure out a way to discuss this to not get in trouble, because I know certain things are kind of like a no to talk about. But I was part of some communities early on, like when I was a teenager, for people with certain mental health issues, certain disorders, and it was pretty underground back then. And through Yahoo groups and kind of like email lists and that kind of stuff, and even message boards. And there would be a lot of trigger warnings, and a lot of times on more like organized ones, there would be trigger warnings where they'd literally say, okay, you can't say this, you can't mention this kind of stuff that might trigger people. So I think they definitely have a use for some things. Although at the same time, when I was in these communities, I very much was already, even as a teenager, say around 15, 16 years old, was already kind of fighting for free speech, the ability to talk to other people who you could relate to on certain issues. So it's kind of crazy to see it like becoming way more mainstream now with in other areas of life. But I think that obviously certain people are sensitive to certain things, and I get it. Like if you're on a mental illness message board and somebody is talking about their experience with certain things that could trigger somebody, I mean, fair enough, say trigger warning. It might be discussing, something that could make you want to do something that's probably not the best thing to do for your health. It's very hard to discuss this because, again, I feel like we are limited on our speech, and that's really sad. But I hope I'm coming across and you're getting my general gist of this. But so it's crazy to hear like triggered and trigger warnings so thrown around so much now, because I've been like exposed to that for so long. It's not even funny. But yeah, and people have definitely taken it way too far. Like, oh, you have a different political opinion? Triggered. I'm triggered. You can't say that. I'm triggered. You can't have a different opinion. I'm triggered. It's like, it's just gone way too far. But let's rewind just a touch and get into this.
America the most Americans. Trigger warnings used to be on TV for seizures, and now they're everywhere to protect millennials' feelings. He, she, his, him, hers, them, they. Screw a pronoun, cause everyone's a retard these days. Here.
And yeah, I know. I said I wasn't gonna be like, oh, like, see, I'm not shocked. I'm not playing shocked. I'm not faking this stuff. I always love that part when Blair is just like, and my favorite part watching reactions is seeing people's reactions when she unmasks. That is, and even funnier is, I'm always like excited to see if they know who it is, who Blair White is, and a lot of times honestly they don't. So then I have to go into the comments and everybody's like, oh, that's Blair White, that's more I don't know if I'd say conservative, more more right leaning transgender person. I think I think she prefers transsexual, but because transgender is a whole nother can of worms. But yeah, so that actually is kind of how I got to know Tom, is watching a video. I actually saw a post on Facebook one day in the summer, I believe, about I think she posted something about I think it was something about Latinx or something, and I actually shared it with a friend of mine who her husband is Latino, and her two youngest are obviously part Latino, and it was so funny. It was just talking about the hypocrisy and how Latinos do not like Latinx. It's just the whole language, Spanish language, is gendered, so you can't. It's just I love watching all the channels I have been watching. It's have been so like diverse. People like to scream about diversity. You haven't seen diversity till you watch so many reaction channels by so many different people. And you know, white females, uh black females, white males, black females, transgender people, etc. You know, just it's such a diversity, and even in the Tom reaction community. And it's just so amazing, you know, to get things from all perspectives. And I found that, you know, a lot of this woke stuff, people that are supposed to be affected by it, or that it's supposed to be affecting, they don't like it. So it seems like the woke stuff is really to protect upper class rich white people, white girls, white women. I don't know, sorry, but just kind of seems like that to me. But let's get back to the song.
Preaching at the protest that hatred's the problem, but hating straight men, white folks, and Christians is common. Coca-Cola telling people they should be less white. They preach intolerance, but if you disagree, they fight. There's a race war here, elections based on fear. Black lives only matter once every 4 years. Soldiers died for this country, and every one of us benefits. Give welfare to the bums and forget about the veterans. Black folks and white folks divided by the news, but we are all the same. We are red, white, and blue. Ashamed to be American? Okay, that's cool. Cause honestly, we are all ashamed of you too.
Y'all are so fake, oh no. The forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa, you can make us see it your way. No way, gasoline and propane. More flames, oh no. No more snowflakes.
They set us up to fail, that's what they built the system for. Put an ammunition shop across the street from a liquor store. Empowering women used to be different than this before. The role models got OnlyFans or dance on a stripper pole. Screw it, I ain't tripping, I don't mean to be mean. But if our children are the future, then our future is bleak. They take an Adderall to focus, hit McDonald's to eat. They're addicted to phones and they take Xanax to sleep. They blurred the lines dividing communism and democracy. In 2021, we paint the patriots as Nazis. The men playing women's sports get trophies for winning. Like, great, let's celebrate a man for beating some women. If you're black, your life matters, you're supposed to embrace it. If you're rich or you're smart, then you're probably Asian. If you're gay, then you're brave, all of that I'm okay with. But if you're white, the stereotype is you are a racist. Blaming capitalism like that's the reason things are tough. While you tweet from an iPhone and sip on a Starbucks, your support.
Even before I ever even heard of Tom, for years, all the protests where you see these white people like talking about capitalism bad, and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, I've always been like, yeah, while you're posting the stuff on an iPhone, $1,000+ iPhone. Hello? I'm pretty sure that's you feeding into capitalism. And that's fine. I mean, if it's not for capitalism, nobody has jobs. People aren't buying things. People are out of jobs. You know, I mean, obviously we unfortunately don't make things in this country anymore. It got a little better for a little bit there. But people still have to sell you stuff locally. So, I mean, again, hypocrisy. Like Tom's constantly talking about. Again, on the mark. I've been saying it for so long. And it's just to hear it coming from Tom. It's like, I wasn't as crazy as I thought.
What you stand against, you don't think you are, but a Percocet addict don't donate money to pharma. Damn, dog, we're all afraid to speak the truth. And the more afraid we get, the more we hate the ones who do. You're ashamed to be American? Okay, that's cool. Cause honestly, we are all ashamed of you too.
Y'all are so fake, oh no. The forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa, you can make us see it your way. No way, gasoline and propane, more flames. Oh no, no more snowflakes.
We can all get along, but there's no stopping. Everybody's wrong, that's a real problem. They don't wanna hear it, but they still talking. Soon enough, we running out of options. This ain't gonna end till it's in the coffin. We ain't gonna be friends till we try to squash it. I don't know how we can make amends or we drop it. Snowflakes melt when it's hot, kid.
Y'all are so fake. Oh no, the forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa, you can make us see it your way. No way, gasoline and propane, more flames. Oh no, no more snowflakes.
Wow, this is like another long video. I just have a lot to say, and I mean, he's pretty much says it all, but I guess I kind of like to kind of state how it makes me feel. And I know facts over feelings, but in the case of reactions and commentary, I think we can agree that feelings when it comes to music is all that matters. I mean, of course he's stating a lot of facts. There's some things that I'm more drawn to commenting about, and other things that I don't disagree with him. Now the OnlyFans thing, like, I'm kind of like neutral in that. Like, even as a female who definitely not about to be doing that myself. I mean, there are people with some pretty crazy, into some pretty crazy stuff, so I'm not gonna lie. I probably could if I wanted to, but yeah. But I say, if that's what you want to do, but I mean, I get what he's saying. He's saying, maybe we shouldn't have little girls aspiring to, go do that. So, I mean, if that's what you end up doing as part of your career, then cool. I mean, there's plenty of people do that as one part of their career, but there's so much more than just that. And so I get the message, definitely. But I'm definitely way for, people should do what they want to do. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, I'm not saying people should go around hurting people. not at all. Anyway, this is nearly 30 minutes, so I think I'm gonna sign off for now. Thank you for watching. Again, make sure you checked out the video on Tom's page that I will have linked in the description, and let me know what you think of the song, some of your thoughts, and maybe if I said something that you want to expand on, or you want me to clarify if there's anything I said that, you're like, did you mean that this way or whatever. Anyway, so I think that's it for now, and see you in the next one. Bye.